What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review. Today with me, we got my man Sanj.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
We got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's just going to be us three tonight. No B tonight. We'll see him next week, hopefully with the F9 review there. But with this week, we're going to get you ready for F9. So we're going to talk about Fast and Furious 1, Fast and Furious 2, Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious. They called it Part 4 instead of Fast and Furious 4. They called it Fast and Furious again. And we got.
I mean, they could have easily called it Fast 4.
Right, but no. We got Fast 5, Fast and Furious 6. I don't think it had like a special name or anything, right? Oh, Too Fast, Too Furious? No, that was 2. We're going to give you an F9 prep. Don't worry about it. We'll get you all those movies there. And then we're going to talk to you guys about some of the news of this week, which is Spielberg with his Netflix deal. Hypocrite. We're going to talk about that Snake Eyes trailer. And we're also going to talk about Black Widow's thoughts on how they over-sexualized her in the first few movies there, and just overall thoughts on that there. And lastly, today, guys, we're going to talk to you about that Loki episode 2. But let's get right into the news of the week first, like we usually do. And Sanj, one of the first things that we talked about today is going to be this Black Widow. New movies coming out in a couple of weeks there. I think like in 2 more weeks we'll see Black Widow, finally first Marvel movie in about 2 years in the theaters. And she was talking about her rise as the Black Widow from where it started in Iron Man 2 all the way up to where it is at the end of Endgame. And now here she is in her own solo movie. But one of the things she said, she looks back at the character and how Iron Man 2, she felt really over-sexualized her. And she really is proud of where she's brought that character to now, where she's more respected. She's also a prominent feature of the movie, of this cast. Like remember Endgame at the end, it was her up there with Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the stars of the show, the Avengers there with Hawkeye and everything. So just, your overall feelings, Sanj. I know it's been a couple of years because I think Iron Man 2 came out in, I want to say like 2008 or 2009 possibly, because it was a long time.
Oh, we were much younger then.
Less grades over here, But like from where they started to where they are now, it looks like they have taken her more seriously, but we can't deny the fact that she was kind of, put out there as a piece of meat almost.
No, we can't deny it. We can't deny it at all. And on the one hand, this is why reading the article is important, right? Because if you could look at the title of the article and already start to form an opinion and
absolutely
make it be like it's her complaining about it after the fact, after she's made all this money, playing the character, right? And rose to stardom playing the character and then complaining about it afterwards. But that's not what she's doing. So I agree with her assessment of it. And then I like what the article was about. It was more about, like you said, her being proud of what she did to give the character depth, to give the character more story, to the point where they had to give her own movie, with the character. So to get past her just being eye candy on the screen, But I mean, to be honest, in the comic books, a lot of the female characters are drawn in such a way where they are hypersexualized,
right?
So
unrealistic features and proportions.
Exactly. And they chose her to play the character because they wanted someone with a certain build and a certain look, and kudos to her for making the character more than that. It makes me remember Peter Dinklage and him talking about the kind of roles that he takes, and struggling as an actor at first. All actors struggle at first, and then and he's a small person on top of it, so to find roles for him is even harder. And he said he made the decision very early to not take roles that make fun of small people, so he and it took him longer to build his star, but look, he's one of the biggest stars in the world now and have played some of the best roles, that some of the most iconic roles that we've seen come out. So it's just props to her for what she's done with the character.
Yeah, man. I mean, Al, I know we're all looking forward to seeing Black Widow in the theaters. What's your thoughts on her, her statement and her article there regarding her thoughts on where Black Widow came from and to where she is now?
Man, I can see where she's coming from, but I guess my memory I don't remember it being like overt just for the character. I remember it being what her cover was when they introduced her. She
Right.
was trying to get close to Tony. That's the kind of woman that Tony surrounded himself with. But they quickly in the same movie showed what she was really about, because when she went into the ring with Happy, she effed him up real quick.
Yeah, that's right.
While
She
she
did
was
the little
trying
flip
to,
thingy.
yeah, while she was
Yeah.
trying to listen to Tony and what he was saying. So I see where she was coming from in that sense, but I remember it being her cover. I don't remember it being how they were making her character be,
Well,
which is why,
it's also more than
which is
just. Sorry.
no, I was just gonna say, because it would be, I can understand where she was coming from with that more if that's how they had the character, and it was just the beginning. But even until the end, she's still wearing skin tight uniforms. They still put in, from what I understand, a body double when she has a rear scene. So
Crazy.
they're still doing it. So
Yeah.
for her to say that they don't do it anymore, and they only did it in the beginning. That's where I'm at a little lost, because they're still doing it, and she's
Mhm.
still participating in it in that sense. And in the beginning, again, from what I remember of Iron Man 2, the reason
Yeah.
why her character was supposed to be, it was able to be taken seriously so quickly, is because they transitioned it so quickly in the same movie. They have her do that infiltration scene where she falls from the ground and she fucks up like what, 5, 6 guards
Yeah,
while going
that's
down
right.
the hallway.
Yeah.
So in that same movie, they showed what her character really was about and capable of. And in the beginning, yeah, her cover had her acting a certain way in order to get close to him. But to me, I took it more as a reflection of Tony and his character and how shallow his character was,
I was
than I
about to say,
took it
or
as,
lack of character.
yeah, and then I took it as a reflection of Black Widow. Like, to me,
Yeah.
I took it as a sign of her being this super undercover agent who knew how to get to her target, and she
Gotcha.
used his um, inadequacies, so to speak, to get close to him, and that had her acting a certain way. So I can see where she's coming from in the sense of how they portrayed it, but I want to take into account why they had her portrayed that way in the very beginning.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
because there's certain scenes I remember. Like I remember there was a part where she came into the boxing ring, and I remember Tony goes to oh my God, I forgot her name. It's
Pepper
Gwyneth
Potts.
Paltrow's character, Pepper Potts. He goes, I want one. You
Yeah.
know?
But again, it wasn't when she just looked a certain way. She had just fucked up Happy, and
Yeah.
that's what made him say that. So again, I didn't take it as
Yeah.
just that sexualization. So
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is a problem pretty much that Hollywood in general had and still has to a certain
oh
extent
yeah,
because they do typecast certain roles for certain types. And, you always have the female that needs to be rescued in most of these movies still. And, we're working our way where, listen, everything needs to progress
hmm
eventually. And hopefully we progress faster than we have in the past few years. But we are seeing more roles being taken as strong leads or the main character being a female. And that's great.
yeah,
It's good progress, but we could always be better in
yeah,
always in all facets of the way we handle movies, even our own lives and decisions that we make. We could all be better, in that
yeah,
sense, man.
yeah. And I'm
But
glad what she's saying about Black Widow, that it's a complete opposite of that. So
mhm.
like you said, we get to see just the strength of her character as a person, not as a female, or oh, she's a female lead.
Mhm.
Hopefully we get to just focus on that she's a character and the strength of her character, and not who she is or what she is.
Yeah, man. Hey, I mean, we're all looking forward, like I said, to that Black Widow, man. I'm counting down the days.
Yeah,
July 9th. Let's do this. Let's get there already.
yeah,
Oh man! So next thing in the news, man, we have Snake Eyes came out with a trailer. We had that quick preview, or they call it the I forgot the kind of trailer they call it there, but it's the
Teaser trailer.
teaser trailer there, which is about a minute and a half. And that's a big tease. But then we got the official story trailer this time. So we got the story trailer there. We also got an email about the Snake Eyes trailer from one of our big fans there, Big Mo, and Mo writes, "Why is he talking, man? Is anyone else concerned?" Yeah, Mo, right here, right
yeah.
here.
Yep.
But everyone's a little concerned. But I do have to say, because it's a Snake Eyes story, having him mute the entire time probably won't work as a good movie. But I can see maybe down the road where it may lead to him becoming mute or not speaking. But I think with a character or an actor like Henry Golding, man, I'm fearful they're gonna have Snake Eyes change and be someone who talks a lot, man. But in regards to the trailer itself, I did think the trailer was a lot better than the teaser trailer. We got a little mentions of Cobra. We saw the little insignia on the screen, little Baroness. Oh goodness, and we got a little Scarlett. So I think it's Scarlett at least. I don't think it's Lady J. Scarlett had the orange hair, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, Al, did you get a chance to check the trailer out, and what'd you think?
Yeah. No, I caught. It looked good, except for the fact that aren't they bringing the same Snow Shadow from
Storm Shadow?
Storm Shadow. Aren't they bringing that same actor to play Storm Shadow again in this movie? I think I understood. I thought I heard that.
No, the guy that's in the trailer is actually the Storm Shadow, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't like the background story they're giving him. I don't like that he starts off his training so late in life. I liked the idea that they were kids. He was a kid when he got brought into the training. It makes it more believable that he has the skills that he has, the training that he has to be that elite fighter. To have him come in so late in life and then have so much of the training behind it takes away from the aura of Snake Eyes that he's always had.
Right.
And then now to make him this comedic talking character, you're going to have to do something severe to now explain why this character no longer speaks going forward.
So, they're gonna do the Bumblebee. They're gonna shoot him right here in the neck.
Yeah, because now I mean to have it be he's making jokes in a few of the scenes that I saw. So now to make him be this super serious,
some stoic character,
that doesn't speak, just his actions do everything. Like, all right, hopefully they sell it, but I don't know. I'm starting from down here now based on this preview. It looked good, but the story is making me want more from this movie to make up for it.
Gotcha, man. How about yourself, Sanj, man? You're a big G.I. Joe fan as well. What's your thoughts on the trailer there?
Well, it looked great. It looked like John Wick meets Fast and Furious. Some of the scenes there. But if it was for another movie that wasn't set in the G.I. Joe universe, I'd be like, oh, this looks really good. And this could be a lot of fun to watch. But then I have all those questions. I agree with Al there that I have all those questions that he has. Like, why is he starting his training? So why does it look like he's starting his training so late in life? Why is he talking? Why it doesn't jive with the whole G.I. Joe universe. So I'll give it a chance. I'm going to go see it. And I'll give it a chance to explain all those things and see how it goes. But if they're retconning the character, I'm not gonna be too happy about that.
No.
Yeah, not someone like Snake Eyes. But there's too much lore and too much of a fan base just for Snake Eyes alone. Period. G.I. Joe is it's Snake Eyes. It's Snake Eyes, guys. Yeah, man. I mean, I saw the trailer and I was impressed by how it looked. Again, Henry Golding is a great actor, so to have him play the role is fantastic. But again, we come with this prior knowledge of G.I. Joe from the cartoons, the comic books, the toys, that we're looking for certain things to make sure that they match up, And like Al was saying, there's certain things I'm like, hey, you're messing with my character.
Yeah. I mean, you're taking a character that had enough of a fan base that it prompted a solo movie. Why would you change so much about
it's like it's like a multiverse Snake Eyes.
Multiverse Snake Eyes. It's just like the flame truck on Optimus.
Listen,
I got used to it though. I got used to it. It was awesome.
At the end of the day, Optimus still ended up being a truck and still ended up being a kick-ass warrior.
Yes. Absolutely, man. Yeah,
come on, man. That cab over design was tired, bro.
Got to update it, definitely. 1980s cartoon. Oh man, listen, guys. If you're listening to the podcast there, or you're watching us on YouTube, why don't you let us know what you thought of the Snake Eyes trailer, man? We'd love to know what you guys think. If you're on the YouTube, comment below, or if you're watching on the or if you're listening to us on the app there, just email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com, and we'll gladly read that email online next week. So, listen, last bit of news we're going to talk about today is a note on hypocrisy. Steven Spielberg making a deal with Netflix after talking all his schmack about movies that are on Netflix don't deserve Oscars. So let's see what Netflix is trying to do, because I'm not sure, Al. I mean, you have a little bit more detailed on the article itself.
Mm-hmm.
Was it more of him putting his prior movies on Netflix,
No,
or
it's
is it
new
a new
content.
deal?
New content. Yeah, they're expecting the first of the content. The earliest would be later this year, but they're expecting a couple shows and movies to appear definitely next year. But actually, I didn't know this. Trial of Chicago 7 was actually his work. And
get out of here.
Amblin Entertainment, I think it's called. They're the ones that actually put together Trial of Chicago 7. It was supposed to go to Paramount, and Paramount sold it to Netflix. So he's under contract. It sounds like, I'm sure they're going to get a nice chunk of change from Netflix in order for the rights to this content. But they even, to their credit, they even called him out on the hypocrisy of him coming over, citing his article in 2018 where he gave that comment that, any movie released on streaming, it basically is a TV movie at that point. And maybe deserves an Emmy if it's a good movie, but not an Oscar. So now what about you? Because I'm sure you're going to want an Oscar. So
absolutely. And Sanj, the power of the dollar takes another one down.
That's it. That almighty dollar. Everybody has their price. I guess, right? But it's not so much the price or the dollar or whatever. But I mean, the quality of Steven Spielberg's work is never in question, right? We all know how great of a filmmaker he is. We can never question that, right? But when you're gonna go so far as to pen an article and be very, very outspoken about what is and what is not cinema, just like his colleague there, who shall go nameless at this point, but we all know who we're talking about. But when you're gonna go that far and be that outspoken about it, it really does make you a hypocrite to then go into that same venue and that same platform and take all that money and then put out your content as well, and then make content for there too, because it's the same type of budget that they're giving you. I mean, Netflix and Amazon and all these other streaming services and whatever, they have the same budget as these big movie houses. They're just
Definitely
saying, like, we put out our own stuff. We don't need the theater, to put out our stuff. We have our own platform. So it does rub people the wrong way, especially me. Like, it's just that hypocrisy. And at the very least, he could come out and say, hey, I did think like that, and now that I thought about it more, and when they gave me all this money, I kind of changed my mind. Like, there's no even like any statement of retraction or statement of, hey, my bad, or hey, my views have evolved on the subject or whatever. It's just like, nah, I'm gonna take this paycheck and then I'll put stuff out and just keep it moving like nothing ever happened.
No, they'll do that small theatrical run that they have to do. So whatever that minimum amount of
1 week at least.
Yeah, whatever that time frame is. Yep. He'll put in like whatever the smallest number of theaters is to qualify, so he can get his Oscar.
Well, I hope if he gets an Oscar for anything that he puts on Netflix, I hope they slap a Netflix sticker on it.
I'll put an asterisk.
Amazing.
Right.
And it's crazy because regardless of his hypocrisy and everything else, but in the end, I'm still going to want to see the stuff that he puts out, especially if it looks good. You know what I mean? Look, like you said, the Trial of Chicago 7 was amazing last year.
Yeah.
Was it last year or 2 years ago? The Trial of Chicago 7.
No,
I can't
year.
even remember.
That's last year. Okay. Yeah, because I mean that was amazing. So if he puts out content like that, I mean I could care less where he puts it. I'm going to go watch it. So
I mean, to be fair, if we're being really fair, Trial of Chicago 7 stood on Sacha Baron Cohen's performance.
The writing of that thing was amazing too, man.
Yeah.
The writer of the West Wing, right, Al?
Aaron Sorkin,
Aaron Sorkin. Yeah. So I mean, let's give the credit where it's due.
Yeah. Don't steal too much credit there, Spielberg. You did still do Super 8, bro. I didn't like that one. The freaking kids. No, man. Yeah, man. So listen, there wasn't a lot of news this week. So that is the news section for us this week, guys. And if there's any news out there that we didn't speak about, let us know. Maybe we'll talk about it on the next podcast there. Or if there's something you guys want us to talk about that is newsworthy, let us know. We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it here. And so this week, guys, we're going to get you ready for Fast and Furious 9, a.k.a.
we get to do a prep.
We're doing a Fast and Furious prep with a bunch of questions and stuff I have for the fellas regarding Fast and Furious. Because if we are honest, man, Fast and Furious has been a part of our lives since, when did the first one come out?
2001.
Jesus Christ. 20 years ago.
Okay.
Oh, man, when I thought I was...
I had my first legal drink, and then I went to go see a Fast and Furious movie.
I remember I thought I was a bad man because I found that there was an overdrive button on my automatic 200SX, knowing that if I hit that overdrive button, it just said and made the car go just a little bit faster. It was still automatic. I wanted to put lights underneath my car. I wanted to do it all, man, because of Fast and Furious Part 1, man. So listen, before we talk about like the whole prep thing and all that stuff like that, my question to you fellas is, out of these 8 movies that we've had already so far, man, Fast 8, Fast 5, all that stuff like that, there's so many good ones. There's some weaker ones, of course. But what is, I would ask you first, Sanj, your favorite Fast and Furious movie?
It's really hard because I really have enjoyed all of the Fast and Furious movies. I'm gonna just say I have really enjoyed all of the Fast and Furious movies, and the little short movie they had on Netflix called Los Bandoleros. But for me, always goes back to that original one, the original Fast and Furious, because I'm like, ooh, okay, this is Point Break.
Basically, right?
Right at the end there, I'm like, okay, this is Point Break. Great, awesome, but with cars and girls.
I get it. Al, how about yourself, man? When you think of this series, what's your favorite out of all of them, man?
It'd have to be the original as well. I mean, not for the sake of, it's the original, so it's the best, but when I was looking over all the movies, and I remembered from going over the first one how they started, bro, they were stealing VCRs out of the back of a truck.
Oh, what you say, Al?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Right?
But
right?
How do you get that group to jumping over submarines and where they are now?
And so before this is over, the motherfuckers are going to space. Watch.
So it just made me realize, like, not only was the movie good for what it was, it was based in reality. So my next favorite, ironically, is Fast 5, where it transitioned into the universe that we have them in now with The Rock and everybody and the ensemble. Because the first couple was, you had like Dom and Brian, then you had Brian, and they introduced Tyrese and
Lucas Black in the third one.
Yeah. So like you had a small group. Fast 5 was like where you really started having the entire group almost in every movie. So Fast 5 would be like my second favorite, but like Sanj, the first one is definitely my favorite.
My second favorite would be Tokyo Drift.
Really, Tokyo Drift. That's the bane of a lot of people's existence. Is Tokyo
Drift. Really.
But not mine, man. I like Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, they took it to, they gave it a whole different look, and I mean, maybe people are a little rough on it because the original cast really isn't in it until really at the end there. I mean, you have Han throughout the movie. That's probably the movie where Han gets the most shine, but it's just like a whole different look. They took it to Japan. You get to see a little different culture, and then the racing was different kind of racing too.
Absolutely, Drift King, DK.
But in the end, it still came down to American muscle, right?
Oh Jesus, yeah. For me, honestly, I thought my favorite was Fast and Furious 1. And a close, not even lying, Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious Part 2 was actually pretty close there too. But my number one is Fast 5. I love that movie. And it's funny because I didn't know how much I loved it till I rewatched it and started dying laughing with all the stuff between, Tego Calderon and
Yes, yes.
Don Omar.
Uh-huh.
They're hilarious. You got Tyrese's like little comebacks and little quick. Tyrese reminds me of like friends from high school, the way they joke around, especially with Ludacris in there.
Oh, I know who Tyrese reminds you of. I'm not gonna say the name of. I
Okay.
know who he reminds you of.
Dude, it's so freaking funny. Some of these things that happen, the way that they talk to each other, the way that they work well with each other, and that they're a team. It's like
Family.
hashtag goals. You know what I mean? Like family goals, friend goals, right there. And it's just like that movie was so incredible. Even The Rock playing the dick character at first, and then joining up with them at the end to be part of the way of getting the bad guys at the end of the movie there. The bank heist or taking the vault. Oh, dude, I actually just absolutely loved Fast Five, man. I thought that was fantastic. And again, like Al has said, it kind of transitioned them from being the street racers to these guys who help out the government or the FBI or the CIA and all these.
They went from being like street racers to being spies, international like spies. Like
it's just really insane, man.
they go from like lifting VCRs to espionage.
No, and how
Yeah,
about
man.
the best part was like
We need to save the world. Who we
that-
gonna call?
Rock's group is chasing them as criminals. Yet the biggest threat that he says they posed was, "Do not let them get into a car."
Whatever you do, don't let them
get into a car. I mean, it's just one of those things. You have to suspend reality, to enjoy the Fast and Furious series. I mean, not so much the first one. Like you could see like the first Fast and Furious, the Fast and Furious movie. You could see that actually happening. Like nothing there too outlandish.
Right.
Happening. Like, street racing, theft, maybe some Grand Theft Auto type stuff. But other than that, nothing really too
out
crazy.
Of the way.
No, not too crazy. But
right.
not when they're like busting out, when they're like beating. You got The Rock when he beat up a helicopter by himself. Like
Then Hobbs and Shaw there.
Yeah, come on, man. Oh God, yeah.
Goodness. So I got another question for you guys regarding the Fast and Furious series there. Again, a long history of movies. That means a lot of cars passed us by on the screen. Al, what is like one of your favorite cars from the Fast and Furious series? If you could just pick one out if you had to.
Would be Dom's Challenger.
Yeah,
because whenever he just turns it on, you feel like you're hearing a race car in front of you. I mean, nothing against all these other cars, but like when you hear and that's like supposed to be your fast car, like that don't like intimidate. Come on,
Al, please, one more time. Al, what do those cars sound like now?
You know what I'm saying? But yet he turns on the Challenger, like you feel that shit start and run, come next to you. But all those other ones, nah, good. Come on. Yeah. So they sound battery operated, man.
You sound like the Toy Story little RC. Oh man. I'll give Sanj a second to collect himself. One of my favorite cars in the series, after watching all of them, I for some reason can't stop thinking about Brian's Skyline in the Too Fast, Too Furious in the beginning. That gray with the blue little siding on the side, the lighting and all that stuff, man, that Skyline was kind of crazy. Also, the Supra at the end of Fast and Furious Part 1, the orange or bright orange Supra that he was driving at the end that he gave to Dom to get away. Those cars kind of stand out. And last but not least, the Lamborghini that Tyrese was driving, the orange Lamborghini that he was driving on the ice. That one's kind of crazy too, man. But how about you, Sanj? Any favorite cars? I mean, I know your son's a big car fan, so I'm wondering like if you know his by any chance too.
Well, his might actually be the Skyline. His might actually be the Skyline. Because he's a big fan of the Skyline. That Supra also. That version of the Supra, the MK4, I believe it's a MK4. I'm not
Wow.
certain,
Yeah.
but he really that's like he says that's his dream car, that Supra MK4. So I've actually been looking. He doesn't know, but I've actually been looking online. He's nowhere near being able to drive yet, right? But I've been looking online trying to get one of those MK4 bodies from Japan.
Gotcha.
Because it's past 25 years now. So those were from like I can't remember the exact years, but the 96 model is now legal to import
Oh
to the
wow.
US. So because the Japanese version, the drive is on the other side.
Mhm.
So in order to import a car here, it has to be at least 25 years old. So I want to get him one of those, even if I could get it crashed or whatever, and just
Yeah.
like
Something, right?
and restore it
Hmm.
and give it to him as a gift at some point.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
But yeah, he really loves that Supra. But you know what car I really love, and y'all gonna laugh at me when I say it. It was in, I believe, Fast 7. The when Dom points to two cars in the hangar that they're in, and he says, "I want the demon love child between these two cars," and it's the one that he backs off and tumbles down the hill with. It has the two big
Oh
tires at the
yes,
back.
yes, yes.
That was my favorite one from the
That's
whole
kind of
series.
crazy. It's like a little like take on a doom buggy almost.
Right, with those two
Yeah.
big tires in the back. I don't know what the purpose of those two tires were. I guess that's what allowed them to roll down the hill and survive. But that was my favorite car from
All
the.
right. Now, also with this Fast and Furious franchise, you got a bunch of characters like Ramsey. You have Ludacris's character, Tyrese's character, Brian, Dom, Letty, Mia. The list goes on and on. Are there a group or maybe a couple guys or one person that always stands out to you, Sanj, from the team?
I mean, I like the way that they interact,
Hmm.
and it's hard to like pick any one person out of the group that you can really point to. But if I had to, I would say Dom.
Yeah.
His character. He's the most consistent. He has his code that he follows no matter what.
Hmm.
He goes all out for his family all the time.
Hmm.
He'll do anything he'll really like go all out. Like that scene when he saved Letty, when he jumped on the hood and had to jump across like two highways, and he could have fell, they could have all fell and everything, and
Yeah,
she's just
yeah.
like, how did you know there'd be a car here to like break the fall? He's like, I didn't. He's like, I just know I needed to save you or whatever. It's just like his character just makes you want to be like, you know, you just want to be that cool.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I am surprised to say this myself, but again, I just recently watched all these movies, so I'm like know which one is my favorite, and I cannot believe I'm about to say Roman Reigns, Tyrese
Really?
character
Damn it.
is my favorite character in the Fast and Furious franchise. He is just for someone who we think can't act in a lot of movies. He is a complete jerk and hilarious in all these movies. His even in the second one when he was beating the shit out of Brian, it was just like it's just ridiculous. And like he has some cheesy lines, but he's so funny. Like I
His
just remember
delivery. It's like how he delivers those
it.
lines.
Oh, dude, I just watched like Fast 8 was the last one I watched, and there's a scene where Ramsey, the new tech or the hacker that they found in Fast 7 that they helped out, she's a part of the team now, and there's a scene where she's telling the team like, it's true, Dom kind of like is went rogue. They kept saying, right, and Michelle Rodriguez's character Letty got up and she goes, "Don't you talk about Dom like that? You don't know what's going on. You should know better about him." And as she walked past her, she bumped Ramsey on the shoulder. And Tyrese looked at her and goes, "You gonna let her do that?" And then she walked off with her computer. She goes, "What? You gonna write her email?" That shit is hilarious, dude. And then, like I said, I watching all these other movies. He always says something, does something. Like he didn't want to push the button for the parachute to come out of the car. It's just scenes like that, man. I can't wait to see him in this next one to see what he
Yeah.
does, man. Al, how
Like
about
yeah, his
yourself?
his 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 his
Yeah.
humor never gets old.
No, man. And dude, he can only do Fast and Furious movies, though.
Yeah.
That's the only movies where we respect Tyrese as an actor.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyrese. I'm sorry. I'm being horrible to you, bro.
Man.
How about you, Al? Man, what's one of your favorite characters or characters?
Stole Tyrese's character.
Tyrese?
Because he like as the movies, especially as they've gotten crazier, he's the only one that seems to realize how crazy the shit is getting. It's like he's always the one that points out, "Are you serious?" And like he points out, "It's a fucking submarine." Like he's the only one that seems to grasp what are we doing? Like what's going on, you know? And when shit, like you said, when shit goes down, he's always the one that points it out or calls people out on stuff, and
Well,
he does it in a comedic way.
By this ninth movie, Letty's starting to like get in on it. Like this may be a little ridiculous when she's just like, "There's no bridge. There's no bridge." Like maybe she's starting to like understand like this might be a little like this does not make sense.
Yeah. And I'm ready for the ridiculous, man. I'm so ready for it, man. Yeah. But you know, it's part of it, man. That's what it is. It's part of it, man. And I guess the last thing I'll ask you guys, and I'll let you go first, so we don't steal your answer. How about memorable moments, like in the movies? There, what's your most memorable moment in the franchise there for you?
I mean, there's a lot of funny scenes. There's two scenes. One because it was hilarious, and then one just because of obviously the emotional value that it had given the situation. Was one, I think is it Fast Five, where they steal all the money from the guy from, what is it, Venezuela?
Oh, from Brazil.
Mm-hmm. So they all get their cut, and you have Tego and Don Omar, and they're at the
casino, I think.
Casino. And they you see them put all their money on one thing and they're like getting excited, and you don't know whether they win or lost, but they bet all their money. Like I just wanted to see, because up until then, like just like with Tyrese, they were the humor,
hilarious.
Yeah. I just wanted to see, like, I always remember that part, and because I don't think they came back after that. I don't remember them in 6 or 7.
And definitely they were in the last.
I think they were in 8. They were in Fast and 8.
Yeah, because I don't remember them having as much of a role.
They had a small scene in Fast 8. It was like a small, quick scene.
Yeah, so, and they were two of my favorites as well. So I just remember that for the humor. And then just Fast 7, you know, the way they sent off Brian, given everything that happened. You know, in that scene where they have him on the beach, you know, with the kid and everything, and the way they wrote him off. I mean, it was clearly fake. You could tell that they put all that together and so forth. But just the emotion behind it, because you knew that these characters and the actors felt like a family.
Yeah.
And for them to go through that just so that they can see off their family member. To me, like you could feel the emotion that like they were portraying it as their characters, but I think that like I felt them really saying their goodbye to him in that scene. So
getting chills by you saying it right now, man. Definitely.
Yeah. So like I'll always remember that scene where they're seeing him off of the movie.
Where they drive the separate ways, right?
Yeah. Like they don't kill him off.
No.
They just say goodbye. And I thought that was a good way to do it. Like, you know, don't kill him off just because he died in real life. But they gave him a good goodbye, an emotional goodbye. And
Black Panther.
Okay,
Black Panther, take notes.
Yeah. I like the way they did that.
Yeah, man. Sanj, man, how about yourself, brother? What's one of the memorable moments for you in the Fast and franchise movie, whether it's funny, emotional, or anything? What's like some of the best moments for you?
I mean, there's so many in the series, but the one scene I really like is at the end of Fast 5 when everybody's like, you know, they divvied up their money and they're going to separate ways. The scene with Han and Giselle when he's driving, I think he's driving like an Lexus LFA or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just cruising down the road, maybe at like 120 miles an hour, and she's sitting in his lap while he's driving, and they're like having their little romantic moment. It was some of the sexiest shit I've ever seen.
I feel you, brother, man. Definitely. I got like Al just said the how they rode off Brian into the sunset, emotional. I think everybody in the theater was like sobbing a little bit or a little tear in the
Yeah,
eye.
my eyes were sweaty. Like my eyes were
Yeah,
sweaty at that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll admit that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll admit that one. But the one thing that's always memorable and I will never forget when it comes to the Fast and Furious series is the beginning of Fast and Furious Part 1. When you see the trucks just driving on the highway and you see the three Honda Civics pretty much low on the ground and they go underneath the truck. I will never forget that. That I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever did.
You
And
remember
every
leaving
time
the
I get
theater
near one
from
of those
that?
trucks, huh?
Do you remember leaving the theater from watching that movie?
Everybody left the theater screeching out of the freaking the parking lot of the Roosevelt Field Mall there where we used to go see movies at.
Synchronized driving, Hyundai Excel.
Oh my God, man. Those cars, because they were black, all dark. They had the green lights on the bottom, and them just going underneath the car so smooth and just driving underneath that. And again, like every time I go near a Mack truck, I look and I'm like, I
Can I
can't
make
fit
it?
under
Can I
that.
make it?
Definitely can't do that, man. But it's something so memorable, and I'll never forget that scene. And of course, Brian's scene as he's being set off on the sunset there. So I mean, listen, we've just talked so much about F9. I'm ready to go for this movie, but just really quick, let's just kind of go over some of the stuff that's happened in the last one, F8, Fate of the Furious there, so that we know where we're going and where we're headed there. And in this movie, pretty much F8, it was the story of Dom turning on his team. Excuse me. And the reason why Dom was turning on his team was, I believe the bad guy's name was Cypher, which was played by Charlize Theron. And it's a pretty good movie, man.
She has a plane. Like her base of operations is a plane that never lands.
Doesn't need gas. It's solar. But the movie was actually
It's wind powered.
Wind powered. Oh man, so such a good movie, man. I thought a lot of exciting scenes. One of my most memorable moments in that movie was seeing the child in the glass security thing that they had her in the plane with Elena from Fast Five also. And that's another thing that's great about these movies. Like, talk about how Marvel does things. Fast and Furious has been doing it for the longest, man. They'll hit you off with characters from you haven't seen in like 4 or 5 years, 10 years, and they'll bring them back on the TV screen. So, Elena is the girlfriend that Dom met when he thought that Letty had passed or he couldn't find Letty in Fast Five. And apparently they had a child together.
I don't know if she was like girlfriend. She might have been a jump off.
One night.
It might have been a few nights. Dom's a little bit more like laid back than but I don't know that he was calling her a girlfriend and all that.
Yeah. But it looks like this is the first time we see the reason why Dom is going rogue on them, and it was very emotional because the kid looked like my child. I remember in the theaters, my wife was like, I can't look. It looks like Noah. It looks like Noah. It was so crazy, man. But it was very deep because they made you care right there. First of all, we care about the characters already. And then to see the reasoning behind why he's doing what he's doing, you kind of get it. There's certain parts of it where I was just like, just call them and tell them why you're doing it. Like, he was just like, just looking at them like, not telling no hints, no clues. Then the kiss in the headquarters was kind of weird with Cypher and Dom. But there was a lot of stuff that happened in this movie. Sanj, what do you recall from F8, and what are some of the memorable moments from F8, The Fate and the Furious?
So I think one of the most memorable things for me is that now Shaw, Deckard Shaw, he basically him and like his mom and like his brother and everything, like now they're part of the team. Meanwhile, like one movie ago, they were like the worst thing in the world. Like the whole world was falling apart because of them, And now they're part of the team. Like, they were just trying to kill you like 5 minutes ago, But again, you suspend reality for a little bit. That's how they add to the team. The villains become, they're either they take out the villain or the villain ends up becoming part of the part of the crew there. But that was the memorable part there, how they integrated them into the team there.
Yeah, man, they had that fantastic scene where they went and rescued the baby off the plane. That was pretty cool. Very nice. They put the headphones on the baby while all the stuff is happening in the background. How about yourself, Al? Any memorable parts of Fast 8 for you?
How easy Dom was able to take all the rest of the team out when they were chasing them.
Oh, that was so crazy.
Yeah.
In New York City.
Oh, kid. I was like, damn. Like, I always thought they were a good team, but he took them out, like, without them leading them, he took them out pretty easy.
Think of Michael Jordan playing against his teammates, right? Like playing them all one-on-one, right? Like they're gonna all get destroyed. Scotty might stand a chance, but but together they're a great team.
Yeah. So that was, and then especially that scene where I think they all face off with him in the street, and he's like looking at them, trying to find out how he's gonna take them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like.
I remember in that scene in New York where the cars were going after Dom. I was like, how much torque is in that goddamn car? It was like he just dragged 4 cars with his one car. It was just ridiculous, man. But the ending of that movie is pretty much the family's all together, but Cypher gets away. So I'm assuming we're gonna see Cypher. I haven't seen her have you guys seen her in the commercials or anything like that for F9? She is in there.
Yeah, so, she's the one I think that's manipulating Cena.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna see a little John Cena action here. So John Cena's in this, and honestly, that's my fear for F9. Is that they've done so much, they've gotten crazy, and where I should just trust them that it's gonna be fine, it's gonna work out, it's gonna be great. There's a part of me they're getting a little ridiculous with some of the stuff that they're doing.
After the 9th movie, right?
Like, all right, 8's too far. But some of the previews, like Al has said before, he's swinging from one part of an island to another part of an island with his car. We see John Cena, and John Cena can get a little corny sometimes. The Rock has his one-liners, but I don't think The Rock is in this one at all, actually. No, there's no Hobbs. I don't think there's any Shaw in this either.
Yeah.
But Al, man, any fears for F9, or just going in there full-hearted, like ready to go and watch this?
No, I'm going to go in there excited to watch it because, already knowing, like Sanj says, you have to suspend all belief of reality and just enjoy the humor, the comedy, and the action, because it's going to be some ridiculous over-the-top action. We already seen some of it in the previews. So just going in and enjoying the experience as to what it is, and and going from there, and just seeing what they're going to set up, because I think there's 2 more after this that they're saying is definitely going to be in the pipe. So just seeing how they continue the story and how they can keep everything supposedly believable, because even though it is crazy, they have done so gradually that you can see every transition from where they were in 1
it's been a
to where they are now. So it's not like where they all of a sudden went from robbing trucks to all of a sudden they're driving cars on ice, and you don't understand how they're capable of doing it. So
just to see the Burj Khalifa.
I just want to see where they get to from cars to spaceships.
Absolutely. Sanj, any concerns on your end for F9, or just going in hopeful, bro?
Man, we have been. Look, this is the first one we're going back to a theater for after almost 2 years. So, I mean, I don't care. I'm just excited. We're going to the theaters. We're all going together, and it's a Fast and Furious movie. I mean, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. Same here, man. I'm just hopeful it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing it, man, and I just can't wait to review it with you guys and hear what you guys think about it as well. All right, man. So listen, that's going to be our F9 prep, getting you guys kind of hyped up and ready, man. There's a lot of stuff we could talk about there about the Fast and Furious franchise, but it was actually, man, just amazing to hear some of this stuff, because you guys brought me back to certain scenes and things. So thank you for that. And then last thing we're going to talk about today, guys, is going to be Loki episode 2. Now, we're not going to go too deep into Loki episode 2 because unfortunately we're recording on Tuesday night. We had a couple things with Father's Day, my birthday, and things going on. So it's like we recorded on a Tuesday night, and Loki comes out at midnight for California people, and for the rest of us tomorrow morning. So, we're just going to
3 a.m.
talk. Yeah, 3 a.m. for everybody else. But just like briefly there, like Sanj, what was your thoughts there on episode 2, the variant? You can go into full spoilers and everything on Loki episode 2.
Well, I think we got confirmation of what we all thought, that he would be facing off against the female version of himself. We got more confirmation that they're actually been hunting multiple versions of him, of Loki, right? Maybe not of him specifically, but of
Right.
Loki.
That they caught a couple, erased a couple too.
Right. So like we don't know if they really think that, did they just choose a Loki that they think they can control? Did they think so? Is he like really as good as he thinks he is? A couple other things that stood out from it is, we still don't know whether this Loki, is really trying to turn over a leaf and be good, because you see some moments where he like really has some self-realization. So yeah, he's asking himself like, what is he really doing with himself and whatnot. And there's times when he makes a very convincing case for himself, as reforming and things like that. But then near the end of it, there he jumps and follows the other Loki, and he says to the other Loki that, look, I'm just playing them and trying to take over the TVA. Why don't we join up together, or you join me? And the other Loki just basically laughs him off. So it makes me think that like she may be, a version from that was him. I don't know. Now I'm gonna like my mind is gonna bend because of the time difference, like the time travel difference or whatever. Maybe she was him at one point trying to do all that stuff, so she knows exactly what he's doing, and then she's just like, yeah, none of this is gonna work. And we see though how she breaks time and how she breaks the multiverse and everything. Like she just sets it all up, and basically she did that at the end of the episode there. So I mean, again, this is it's really just showing how it all goes into the Doctor Strange movie. So far though, after 2 episodes, and normally we give it a lot more time, before we start to like really comment on how we like really feel about the show. But since we don't have as many episodes of this, I don't feel as like attached to this show as I was to, let's say, WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just feel like I just got so much more excited about those
the other shows
the other shows. Then I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy, I'm excited about it. Like the story's really good and whatever, but it's just not hitting me like Falcon and the Winter Soldier was. Maybe it's because it doesn't have as much of the action and it's more like cerebral and more story. But that's just where I am with it right now.
Yeah, how about yourself, man? What's your thoughts on the episode, and what do you think about the series so far about it?
I mean, the episode it was weird in the sense that it made me think like that. I think they're gonna do the same thing they've been doing, where there's that twist. So now the TVA, in terms of the timekeepers, they're not the good guys; they're possibly the bad guys. And she's trying to show that they are the bad guys, and that's why I think maybe when the female Loki asks Loki what he was doing for, and he tries to say, let's team up and let's take them down together and take over the TVA. I think her reason for not was because she's not trying to become part of the TVA or whatever. It's like she's just trying to expose them. So I think that's why maybe she brushed off his offer. So I'm looking to see if that's the direction they're going. In terms of the show, it's good, but it's not as, like Sanjay was saying, there's not as much action as I thought there was going to be, considering that these movies right now, we've seen as many episodes. We would have been halfway through WandaVision by now, because WandaVisions were about half-hour long episodes.
Yeah.
So, and these are each almost an hour long. So we would have been through 4 episodes of Wanda by now. And at that point, we were already feeling for the characters and like coming up with all these theories as to what was going on.
Right.
I'm not getting that from this show. I'm like still waiting to see where they're going with the show. Like, what's the whole thing that we're supposed to be taking from this show, other than, okay, is this really just maybe a setup for the next movies that are coming out?
Right.
Which I'm hoping they're not doing. Like, keep them separate. I understand you're going to keep them separate, but at the same time, you use them for more than just being a launching off for the next movie.
Right.
And I'm afraid that's what this may turn out to be.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm finding it very interesting. It's hitting me off on a lot of like philosophical questions regarding free will, destiny, our plan, quote
Hmm.
unquote, the plan that we have. But besides the philosophical questions that I'm coming up with these things, I'm also thinking like this is all bullshit too. Like you know what I mean? Because the fact that these three guys are controlling a timeline, but then there's clearly Lokis that are jumping in and out of these different timelines because they've
Hmm.
collected how many they showed like five, and then there's the female Loki, or now this Loki here as well, and it's just like there's something wrong, something's off. And then there was a scene there with the Renslayer character, which is I guess the person who's in charge of everything right now, that we from our point of view we're seeing she's in charge.
Hmm.
She says something like, "Oh, the I've never seen them so intense about something before," and it just came off like, "Are you even talking to them?" Like,
Yeah. And
just
yeah.
something's weird. It's like very like Wizard of Oz kind of thing. Like she's the person behind the statues there.
Yeah. And they're just
So
there to be somebody to be afraid of.
exactly. So
Right.
there's something more at play, of course, and we'll probably get more into that this week. I think for some reason this week we're gonna find out that they try to capture that old Loki, the female Loki, in a different timeline, and it seems like because I've seen previews of her like kicking them in the TVA. So either she's going to the TVA, or there was a I guess a past that happened where she was in the TVA for some reason. But this is going all to hell. And I think that whatever happened this last episode, in episode 2, where she sent these time bombs or stuff to different points of time, I
Mhm.
think she did that to get all the soldiers to go out and try to take care of it, leaving the actual TVA empty from soldiers, so she can go in there by herself and do some damage. So, I'm very interested in seeing what they do. It's going to be pretty interesting because they said that these series, the Loki series, is actually going to affect a lot of the future of the Marvel movies. And I think we're going to get to a
Oh.
point where we're going to get Secret Wars or some kind of multiverse war going on, because it does seem like with the stuff from Spider-Man, the multiverse of madness with Doctor Strange too, it just seems like this is the path that we're headed on towards. And I'm all there for it because I trust Marvel and what they're trying to do and the stuff that they're putting out. Because even though like it's not my favorite right now, I still kind of like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier a little bit better right now. But
Mhm.
we'll see where it ends off, man. So I don't know. I mean, what you guys
I,
expecting for episode 3 there?
I thought also that was interesting in what I want to see a little bit more of in episode 3 is, as much as Mobius is trying to turn Loki, it seems, right? It seems Mobius himself might be turning, because
Mm-hmm.
when they introduced that little scene where he looks at, he has a thing for jet skis, even though he's never ridden a jet ski, just like in his mind, that's like the perfect thing ever in all of
Yeah.
creation, a jet ski, right? But when you get into, when Loki asks him, about his background, whatever, well, he was created by the timekeepers and he just does his job. And every other person, like in the TVA, they kind of just do their job, don't ask questions. And he's like the only one really thinking outside the box. Like even when they were trying to figure out how to catch the variant or whatever, it was his idea to capture a Loki and use a Loki to catch the Loki,
Mm-hmm.
right? That they've been trying to catch. Like he's the one always like going outside the box, thinking of something
Mm-hmm.
else to do. So he has that spark of like free will, like you were talking about, Hav.
Yeah.
That what does it mean to have free will and whatever. Like he seems to have that spark in him. So maybe it turns out that he's going to end up turning and joining up with Loki. You
Mm.
know, so
Yeah.
that I'm looking out for his development and what's going on with Mobius in episode 3.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, Al, if you remember the conversation that Loki and him were having, it was very deep, a very
Mhm.
deep conversation.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
And,
yeah.
he's basically challenging Mobius, like, okay, you believe what now? But then it's funny because Mobius then flipped it on him. He goes, why don't you tell me where you're from?
Yeah.
Asgard, and you're son of
He's like, wait, you're an
Odin.
ice giant, and you were raised by who? Odin? Okay, and your brother's what? All right.
What you think about all that?
No, I thought it was a good twist in the sense of like when you question somebody else's either beliefs or principles and you don't realize how similar, although maybe a different premise or from a different point of view, that they're the same as yours.
Hmm.
Just they maybe the origin is a little different or the focus is somewhere else, but the core concepts are very much alike. And then when the person doesn't like hearing that, and instead they shut down and try to change the subject. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was an interesting twist, an interesting take on it. But in terms of the upcoming episode, I would like to see, hopefully they show where this is all going. Like, what's the whole direction of, like, what's trying to be exposed, what's being hidden, give us a little bit more meat. Don't give us everything, but give us a little bit hint of where exactly we're going with this. Because I do like the give and take, the back and forth with Mobius and Loki. But I want to see like kind of what's Sanjay's point, who's going to have the bigger influence on who? Like, are we going to get Mobius realizing, oh shit, wait a minute, what am I doing? I've been wasting my career doing all of this. Or are we going to get more of a realization from Loki and saying, oh, you know what? There's nothing wrong with maybe having a purpose in life as opposed to just creating mischief. So, like, who's going to win out in this battle? And I'm hoping they give us an indication in the next episode as to what direction they're going in for that.
Yeah, man. Because, if you plan everything, it just sounds boring. You need a little chaos, Al. A little chaos. Yeah. Oh, man. But listen, guys, that's going to be our podcast for this week there, man. We thank Sanj and Al for their appearance today and their thoughts and opinions. And, man, we just want to say thank you guys out there for listening. And, we'll definitely be back next week talking about our thoughts on Fast 9, our movie experience with Fast 9, as well as the episode 3 of Loki. So we'll be talking to you guys on that next week. So stay tuned, man. So if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube, or if you're listening to us smash it. And if you're listening on a podcast app, hit that little plus symbol to add us as your weekly podcasting. We'll just come up on your podcast app every week if you put that little plus symbol on there. So coming out of Long Island, New York, we got our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
We got my brother, Sanj.
Good night, everybody, and be safe out there.
And myself, Hob, saying thank you always for listening, watching, and subscribing and all that stuff like that. And listen, if you have a friend or someone that likes the stuff that we talk about, share it with them. Let them know about what we do over here on The Real Fan Review every week. Podcasting, talking on YouTube, just those blockbuster movies. We'll catch you on the next episode, fellas and ladies. We'll see you next time.